Hello, dear friends. This is Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with more hope and light. And you're welcome to join us. Join us here at Cardiac Radio because we are studying a book that is, it's never translated, it has never been translated into English. Hope and Light by several spirit authors through Chico Xavier. The book Hope and Light brings to us new hope. And why do we need a new hope? Well, because we can't be hopeless, right? So let me just double check here the system to make sure that everything. Okay, hope and light. Let's double check. 1 second, please. Okay, we're waiting for the system of the so many platforms to go through. Hello, Teresa Castro. Hello, Rihanna. Today we're going to study an unprecedented message by the renowned Castro Alves. Castro Alves was a Brazilian poet, writer. Okay, so Antônio Frederico de Castro Alves, born in Bahia, Brazil, in 1847, died at age 24, very young, 1871, in Salvador, Bahia, where Divaldo Franco lives. He was a poet and a playwright. He studied at the University of São Paulo. He became very renowned because of his Republican poems and the poems against slavery, abolitionist poems. Later, through Chico Xavier, he brought to us the immortal poems of the spirits in the first book published by Chico Xavier, his psychography. Okay, so here we have today a plea, a rogative. A rogative is like a plea. It's like a, let me get some of the other synonyms here. 1 second, please. Let me just get more synonyms for those who want to know more about. Okay, so here it is. It is a, I think plea is the best word, okay? I'm just trying to see if there is anything else that I can add, but the main meaning is here in the poetry is about this deep felt request. This is how we're feeling today. I think it comes hand in hand with the current times, everything that is happening in the world. Though this message that we're going to read is a poem, it was written in October 1990. And the poem in Portuguese is beautiful because it fully rhymes. And I could read it for you in Portuguese, but I can't forget to read it in English, right? So I will open here so we can read it. Hello, Andrea. Hello, Sol Souza. Hello, dear friends. Hello, Daisy, Sunshine, Wagner Jr., long time no see you. Big hug to you. Silvio Otero, how have you been? So here we have Castro Alves, and let me open his poetry because it's simply phenomenal. It's a masterpiece. He's the best of the best. If you want to know something about poetry in Portuguese, I say Castro Alves is at the top of the list. Casimiro Cunha, we've studied him before, right? And here he has 2 poems in this book. One of them is this plea, this deep felt request. He begins by saying the following, and I will read first the Portuguese just because it was the original version, and it's musical, melodic, because it fully rhymes, and then I'll read it in English so we go through it. I think this poem says deep to our hearts, because you see, I won't spoil the fun. Rogativa. No Golfo Pérsico é noite. Revejo a nuvem da guerra, pairando acima da terra, a espalhar-se na amplidão. No bojo dos grandes barcos, em mesas enfileiradas, ouço frases cochichadas, exprimindo inquietação. Nos guerreiros veteranos há silêncio, não há voz. E vendo luz ao meu lado, entro na bênção da prece, pedindo a Deus fortaleza a todos nós. Fitando o alto, eis que imploro, ah, meu Pai, por que, meu Deus, por que deste tanto ódio, aos teus filhos e meus irmãos meus, sem que ninguém saiba de onde, a voz dos céus nos responde, a todos damos amor. Invoco Jesus Cristo, amado Mestre Senhor, Jesus, ante o teu Natal livra-nos sempre do mal. E o Mestre diz em voz alta, para o bem nada nos falta, amparai-vos uns aos outros, amai-vos qual vos amei. Sei que o conflito iminente pode surgir de repente, de espírito transformado, operando mentalmente. Volto ao meu próprio passado, vejo a guerra das cruzadas, homens munidos de espadas montam soberbos corcéis, crianças abandonadas procuram mães desoladas, sofrendo golpes cruéis, eis-me também nas cruzadas. A guerra é longa e sangrenta, o homem não se contenta, crê no ódio mais e mais, nada suprime a matança, morre a paz sem esperança, gerando embates fatais. A batalha continua, volto a Jesus e pergunto, como agir, diz o Senhor? Perante o desequilíbrio de nossos irmãos do mundo, rogamos que nos definas com tuas lições divinas, que fazer perante a lei? Fala, entretanto, o Senhor, quando a vida se desmanda, precisamos cultivar mais trabalho, mais perdão e mais amor. A guerra prossegue intensa, os homens nos lembram feras, no caminho de outras eras, sem luz, sem paz e sem crença. E em vilarejo distante, embora vitorioso, o rei Luz cai exangue e morre em poeira de sangue, ferindo o mundo cristão. Tantas lembranças amargas afastam-me do terror, sempre o ódio em tantas cenas para ilações mais serenas. Em torno do torre do evento, coração em sofrimento mergulhado em grande dor. Quero pensar livre, não suporto a grande luta, retiro-me quando escuto alguém a dizer-me claro, em Deus não há desamparo. O mensageiro da luz pedia-me paz e fé, na bênção do herói da cruz, consciente, ansioso e aflito, procuro guardar-me em prece na paz de que necessito. Vejo em torno a natureza, tudo esperança e beleza, o vento brinca na areia, noto onde o solo se alteia. Terra verde e céu anil, a dor quase me enlouquece, mas em paz reflito em prece. Deus nos preserve o Brasil. Okay, ready? This was the Portuguese version, right? Carol Correia, Nora Brasil, thank you, Silvia. Great that you're in São Paulo, Wagner. Good to know. God bless you. Now, our version, the English version. First hand, I think this poem has never been translated before. It was psychographed in 1990 in the city of São Paulo. And now it goes. Rogative or plea. In the Persian Gulf, it is night. I see again the cloud of war, hovering above the earth, spreading in the breaths. In the bilge of big boats, at queued tables, I hear whispered phrases expressing restlessness. In the veteran warriors, there is silence, there is no voice. And seeing light by my side, I enter the blessing of prayer, asking God strength to all of us. Looking up, I beg, oh Father, why, my God, Why did you give so much hatred to your children and my siblings? Why anyone knowing from where? Without anyone knowing from where the voice of heaven answers us. We give love to all. I then invoke Jesus Christ, beloved Master and Lord. Jesus, before your Christmas, always deliver us from evil. And the Master said aloud, for the good we lack nothing. Support one another. Love yourselves as I have loved you. I know the imminent conflict may come up suddenly. Of transformed spirit operating mentally, I return to my own past. I see the Crusades, men with swords. They ride superb horses. There are abandoned children, looking for desolate mothers, suffering cruel blows. I am also at the Crusades. The war is long and bloody. Men are not content, believing in hatred more and more. Nothing suppresses the killing. Peace dies without hope, generating fatal clashes. The battle goes on. I return to Jesus and ask, how should we act? Say it, Lord. In the face of imbalance of our siblings in the world, we pray that you define with your divine lessons what to do before the law. The Lord, however, speaks, saying that when life falls out, we need to cultivate more work, more forgiveness, and more love. The war goes on intensely. Men remind us of beasts. On the way to other ages, no light, no peace, no belief. And in a distant village, although victorious, King Light falls bloodless and dies in bloody dust, hurting the Christian world. So many bitter memories. I move away from terror, always hatred in so many scenes, for more serene elation. Around the horrid event, suffering heart, plunged in great pain. I want to freely thank. I can't stand the big fight. I retreat when I listen, someone telling me clearly, in God there is no helplessness. The messenger of light asked me for peace and faith. In the blessing of the hero of the cross, conscious, afflicted, and afflicted, I try to keep myself in prayer. In the peace I need, I see nature around. Everything is hope and beauty. The wind plays in the sand. I notice where the soil elevates green earth and indigo sky. Pain drives me almost crazy, but in peace, I reflect on prayer. May God preserve our Brazil. Of course, he's a Brazilian writing in Brazil at the time at a particular occasion. But we can say, may God bless our earth, our Brazil, our US, our England, our South Africa, our many countries, the Philippines. But may God bless the earth. Let's see why Emmanuel allows this poem by Castro Alves to be in the compilation of a book titled Hope and Light. Of course, only Emmanuel knows the final answer, but we can create a hypothesis because it says here about the search for illumination. It's about hopelessness, helplessness, versus hope. He's asking for understanding of the current world. And in the poem himself, he reveals to us his past in the Crusades. Interesting. Many people are living in the world nowadays, even spiritists, feeling, I don't belong to this world. It's too low for me. Huh? There are some people who feel this way, that the world is messed up, that we are so above it all. And Castro Alves is giving us a lesson of humility. He understands that he himself doesn't like the wars nowadays. And he has this extreme anguish when he sees it. Very psychological. When I see something that bothers me deeply, it's a strong sign that I am identifying something that is inside of me. So that I dislike to the extreme has a strong echo inside of me. Psychology explains. And Castro Alves masterfully shows to us that what he dislikes and what he is anguished about today is something that perpetuates something that he participated centuries ago. What about us? We need to feel the scriptures. Jesus said to Nicodemus, are we feeling it? What are we doing nowadays? Nowadays, so many things are happening, and there are particular things that bother us more than other things that we see in the news or in our workplaces or in our families. If we were allowed, we would discover that deep inside of our hearts, there is an explanation in previous lives. And what does that mean? We should feel guilty? No. That we should contribute with good thoughts and good feelings. Because nowadays, we're no longer there. So we can project that the people who are doing those things today, one day they will no longer do this. It hurts. It is painful. But Leon Denis says in the book After Death, remember, pain is law in this world. No wonder in our book, The Gospel According to Spiritism, chapter 5, the longest chapter of this book, it says to us, blessed are the afflicted. It's part of our life to manage pain management. I like it because the expression, because I am a neuroscientist and I have studied for the longest time pain in infants, pain in adults, the systems. And it's beautiful to understand how possible it is to manage pain. In neuroscience, we learn that pain is like another sense of ours. It greatly depends on perception. Any stimulus that becomes difficult, threatening, can be managed like a painkiller. A painkiller goes and manages this input. It's like dodging it in the brain, saying, oh, no, nothing much is happening. And you're like, oh, I'm feeling much better. But there's still the cut and the hurt and the wound. But the brain is not overreacting to it. So physically, it is possible to manage it, to reframe it, So is the role of painkillers molecularly. What about in the mind? Jesus comes and says, if you come with me, I have a painkiller. I have a pill. If you take it with discipline, with effort and repetition, we will manage this pain. So when we go to the book Action and Reaction by Andrea Lewis, we see a particular chapter when the instructor of the time explains to all of us through Andrea Lewis that there are different types of pain. And it's important to understand that there are different types of pain to manage pain. Because pain is the perception of something that is threatening us in some way. In our case, psychologically, it may be threatening our ego. It may be threatening our pride, and then it hurts. Right? So, 3 types of pain. 1, pain evolution. Pain evolution, the Spirit Hollow says, well, pain evolution is inevitable. It's the pain that comes from inside out, the pain in which we learn new things, and we're creating new challenges, exercising new muscles of the soul, and thus you feel that affliction. It's like a student. I want to learn, I want to get a degree, graduate. No matter how hard you try, you need to make an effort. It may be more difficult for some people than others, but it requires effort. Until one day you love studying and you can say, bring it on, right? I know friends who are like this at Cardiac Radio, right? In our team who love studying, so they don't see the anguishes anymore. But for many people, it may be very afflicting. It's the pain evolution. Now, it's a beautiful pain because it's a sign you're working muscles you've never worked before, okay? The other thing is the pain expiation. Pain expiation is karma when we say karma. It's the suffering that we incurred, sufferings that we experience because we have made others suffer. So, pain expiation. Inevitable. That's the one that we know. And then there is pain aiding pain. What is it? Pain that comes to help us not incur in great mistakes. But that only happens when we have merit. So Andrea Luiz shows a man who is about to, he plans on killing his wife because he wants to have this affair and move on. And then this child comes in the way, rescuing him from that big mistake. I won't say the whole thing because you can read the books to understand more the story, especially Action and Reaction. It's the case, another case of a man who is about to make a big mistake in his life, and the spirits induce some form of heart attack. I would say some form of heart dystonia to make him stop and think what he's doing. So, 3 types of pain to help us in our lives. So if we are managing our sufferings and pains in this life, we need to understand which type of pain we're going through. And you may be asking, but Vanessa, how do I know which type of pain I'm feeling? You need to study yourself. Because usually pain expiation comes with particular features, shame and guilt. The student that repeats the year feels ashamed, feels guilty deep inside. When we are going through pain expiation has these colors, the features of pain, shame and guilt. When it's pain evolution, it feels like when you go to the gym. It feels bittersweet. It feels like, oh my gosh, it's so hard. But at the same time, yeah, I'm making it happen. I'll give an example. It's when you are a mother, and through motherhood, we learn so many things we've never learned. It may be sacrificial, but then you smile and say, wow, I've never imagined that I was able to do this much, to sacrifice in that occasion or doing this, and to be able to do this. So there is some form of anguish, but then you overcome it, and then you feel accomplished. Pain evolution, right? And then there is what we call aiding pain. It's when you're planning a trip and then you get sick. I think the spirits are helping us. Maybe you shouldn't go now. Maybe a little delay is going to benefit you. Preventing problems in the course of the way, right? So Castro Alves talking is teaching us today how to manage our pain. He's saying some things are expiation. We're still expiating, friends. We may not like it, but it's not a matter of liking or not. It's the law of life, the law of reincarnation, as Kardec says, the law of action and reaction. We are harvesting what we have sowed in the past. And that's okay. It shall pass. One day we will move on. For now, let us extract the remedies in this message. Shall we? First remedy, and I have a marker here to highlight together. First and foremost, prayer. You observe that when we are anguished, number one thing, pray. Second, he is saying that God only gives love. The hatred we create is the absence of love. We need to expand this love. The universe expands daily at each and every millisecond. We are to expand the universe of our hearts in love and love and love. You know, if you watch the latest movie, Grinch, you see his heart was tiny, 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 and then a little child comes and whoop, whoop, whoop. The heart becomes big. That's us. We need to do this. Open our hearts. Open our capacity of love. We're not there yet. There's more to love, more to expand. And Jesus says aloud, because he has delivered us from evil. And Jesus says, we lack nothing. So support one another. Love yourselves as I have loved you. There is nothing lacking. We have everything. We just need to do our part. And love, and love, and love. And then later, beautiful, when they come to him and say clearly, in another dialogue, when he asks Jesus and asking, how should we act in the face of the imbalance of our siblings in the world? And then the Lord speaks saying, we need to cultivate more work, more forgiveness, more love. More work, more forgiveness, more love. More work, being useful. Work means be useful. More forgiveness, we need to let go. And more love. This is the remedy. After all, the spirits tell him, in God, there is no helplessness. When he says, I can't stand the fight, someone tells him, in God, there is no helplessness. No helplessness. The messenger of light asked me for peace and faith in the blessing of the hero of the cross. And then he starts seeing nature, hope and beauty. Aha! Hope and beauty in nature. So if you are desolated, feeling helpless, go around, observe a bird, observe a butterfly, a dog, a cat, an ant, a tree, a flower, the sea, the sky, the stars. And we conclude, Mamma mia, so beautiful. What am I doing crying? Where was my mind when I saw everything gray, when everything's so full of colors and beauty, hope and beauty? Hope and beauty, friends. In God, there is no helplessness. So today we're going to follow through and repeat to ourselves in the next 24 hours. In God, there is always hope. In God, there is always hope. In God, there is always hope. Because we can almost hear the hymn saying, joy to the world, because Jesus has come. Oh, Jesus, we're like Castro Alves today. We need your help. We have our anguishes. We have our sorrows. And then Jesus is saying, in God, there's always hope. We believe you. Let us feel it, friends, and open our hearts for more work, more forgiveness, and more love. These are the teachings of Open Light, a true treat by Castro Alves to us through Chico Xavier. Friends, let us rejoice, because in God there's always hope. We're truly moved. Thank you, God. Thank you, friends. Let us keep our hearts in hope and light. Thank you so much, friends, for being here. And until tomorrow, God willing.